Hello and welcome back to day 13 of this, my Solve of the Exit the Game Advent Calendar. Each day we need to solve some puzzles to work out where the door for the next day is, because they're not labelled and it's up to us to work out where to go. So, each day there is a story which sets the scene for the room we're about to open, so I'll get rid of the solutions and hints and I shall turn straight to the story. Today is the 13th of December, so let's get this and have a good look at it. Now, I have to say that I've already read the story over before I started recording this video, just so that I don't have to read every word on camera. And it says that you find yourself in a chemical laboratory. As soon as you realise that, you feel uncomfortable, and not just because of the large poster on the wall. Granted, the periodic table of the elements brings back bad memories of your school days. Why? Who objects to elements? Who objects to the periodic table? What a strange thing to write. But that's not it. You've since learned that science is, quote marks, cool. Really? Science is cool. Anyway, no, your discomfort comes from being in this lab not long ago. Apparently an experiment went badly wrong here. I mean, you were here? Is it apparently? Maybe that was after you were there? But then why are you discomforted by that? That doesn't make any sense. It looks as if something may have exploded fairly recently. The floor and walls are riddled with enormous cracks and glass shards are scattered on the floor. Several of the halogen lamps on the ceiling have broken, and those left bathe the chaos in the laboratory in a diffuse light. I have to say, you're very good at analysing bulb types when you come into rooms, aren't you? Even the digital clock on the wall seems to be broken. You look closer, it has indeed stopped, and only part of the LED is still intact. What is that stuff over on the table? Could these brightly coloured Petri dishes be the cause of the catastrophe? It doesn't seem likely. There is no one in sight to ask, so you keep looking around. Right. Finally, you find a couple of sticky notes on the floor. You pick them up and take a closer look. Open door 13 now, behind which you will find 4 riddle cards. And there is nothing on the back of this card. So there we go. Let's have a look at the calendar and find day 13 again. Now, I think it's somewhere around the middle, if I remember correctly. Yes, here it is at the top. Right, here's day 13. Let's open it and see what's behind this door. Okay. Oh, wow. Cracks indeed. It's interesting, actually. A lot of the early days on the calendar, I think were plain, but there's more decoration going on now. Right, we'll have a look in the room in a second. These are our 4 riddle cards we expected. Let's look at them in order. K1, 2:15 AM to 4:45 AM. Samples analysed in the laboratory. According to Professor Erwin Katvich, the team leader. Okay, so we're creating the timeline, and I now understand why I was drawing attention to the halogen lamps. 5:20 AM to 6:10 AM, halogen lamps changed in the laboratory. According to Borean Fleage, facility manager. These are unusual names, at least in English. So perhaps we're doing something with the names. Don't know. Next up, 7:55 AM. Message. One of the samples has exploded and destroyed parts of the laboratory. Luckily, nobody was in the lab at the time. It is still unclear exactly when, in bold, the explosion took place. Dr. Jana Chinsky, chemist. And the final message, 9:28 AM. The investigation of samples from the laboratory has shown that the blast took place more than 3 hours ago, according to Nicola Riesel from the factory fire service. So I'm going to have a look in the room, I think, before I go much further. But is there enough information in here to work out exactly when the explosion took place? Maybe there is, and that's going to be 3 digits, isn't it? If we work out the time. And each day we are looking for a 3-digit code to put into our decoder. And once we've put our code into the decoder, this is just random 3 digits, it then tells us where to go to find the next door on the calendar. It has some shapes to help us confirm we found the correct door. So now let's have a good look inside room 13 and see what's in there. Right, so this is the room, and there are those brightly coloured Petri dishes. How many are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, which absolutely could correspond to the digits from 0 to 9. In fact, there's even a left to right order in there if we want to use it. So maybe I'm wrong about the time. And then on the floor there are loads of footprints and a giant crack. On the left, okay, there's an incomplete time, a digital clock. So presumably that's narrowing down the range of times at which the explosion happened, so that we know it is, for example, 3:22. Or it could, of course, be 3:28, or it could be 5 something, or 6 something, and so forth. Wait, something. At the top there are some lights, 3 of which are missing. Which perhaps suggests that the explosion was on the left. And then on the right is the periodic table. This of course very small there, so I don't think we're meant to take any information directly from it, but perhaps there is some direct relevance there. And a poster that says Captain Science. Very old looking poster that says Captain Science. And then on the floor, as I've said, there are footprints that go up to the set of Petri dishes, but they don't appear to go away again unless they go into the wall there. So I think we're just narrowing down the time, and that's going to be the answer. So what the colours are for and the reference to all that, I don't know. Right, so I think the first thing to do is to work out the possible times. So here is what the picture looks like in the room. So that first digit, so we just work through all the numerals on a 7-segment LED display, then it's not 1 or 2, it could be 3. 2 would be this way, so that wouldn't be lit. But it could be 3, can't be 4, could be 5, could be 6, can't be 7, could be 8. And could it be 9? Yes, it could indeed be 9, but, well, actually I don't know what I was going to say, but it could be 9. And then this one here, it could be 2, but not 3 or 4 or 5, it could be 6, it can't be 7, it could be 8, and could it be 9? No, because of that line there. And then this one on the right, it could be 1 or can't be 1, could be 2, can't be 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or 7, it could be 8, can't be 9. So our time, the hour, we need to narrow down quite a lot, but the number of minutes are quite heavily constrained, to be fair. So we'll have a look at the clues now. We're trying to work out, I think, exactly when the explosion took place, and that's our answer. So we know it's before 7:55 AM. Otherwise, this card wouldn't be helpful. So we can eliminate 8 and 9 as starting options. I think that's all we can learn from this card. So I will discard that. Now, 5:20 to 6:10. Halogen lamps changed in the laboratory. So does that mean that was before the explosion took place? 9:28 AM, the investigation has shown that the blast took place more than 3 hours ago. So that's prior to 6:28 AM. Samples analysed in the laboratory. So we know it was after 4:45 AM, so it's not 3. Okay, so we've used that one, I think, as well. So these are the 2 relevant ones. 5:20 to 6:10, halogen lamps changed in the laboratory. So I think we can assume that the lamps were changed before the explosion. That makes sense, doesn't it? So we're narrowing the explosion down to between 6:10, assuming that the halogen lamp process took this long. That is very slow. Assuming the halogen lamp change took this number of minutes, 50 minutes, then we have the explosion between 6:10 and 3 hours before 9:28. So between 6:10 and 6:28. So that means this is 6. This obviously is, I don't know why I wrote the 6 and 8 there. It could never have been those options for the number of tens of minutes. And then, well, 6:22 is probably better than 6:28. More than 3 hours ago. So that eliminates 6:28. So the explosion took place at 6:22. If I'm correct, and goodness knows what the colours and the digs at the periodic table were for. Maybe another day, who knows. Let's have a look at the decoder strip and see how we do. Now, right, this is our day here, day 13. So we're going to start here, and we're going to put 6:22 into the strip and see what happens. You can't see that, but it says 6:22. Right, let's look on the back. It says to go right, and then down right. Oh, and then right again. So I need to tilt my camera to here, and then if we're correct, we should see hexagon, hexagon, circle, which we do. So there we go. We have found day 14. All right, so a few unexplained things in that room there. What are the colours for? Surely they are used another day, but who knows? Right, well, I hope you enjoyed that. I did. If you did, and even if you didn't, please join me tomorrow. You can subscribe to my channel here. It makes it easier to find my future videos, so please do. By here, I'll solve the 3 advent calendars I solved last year, and here, the 3 I'm solving this year, including this one. But hopefully I will see you again in the next video. So until then, take care and goodbye.